What's going on, fight fans? Welcome back to CombatWire, and today I will be giving you my UFC 319 predictions. I'm super excited for this event. I've been waiting for this event for a while. It's been marked on my calendar. They've been adding banger fight after banger fight to it, and today I will be giving you just not every single fight, but the featured bouts and my predictions of who's going to win and how I think they're going to win. Let's not waste any more time on an intro, and let's get right into it. So the first fight I'll be talking about today is Kai Asakura versus Tim Elliott. I don't have much to say about this fight because I truly believe that Kai Asakura is going to win by knockout. I can't see it being a submission, maybe, depending on, the situation of the fight. But definitely, in my heart of hearts, I believe Kai Asakura is going to win by knockout. What I will say about this fight is I truly think this was supposed to be his first fight. I don't think he should have gone up against a champion, fight number one in the UFC. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on because we have a similar situation that's going on later in the card. But yeah, I think they should have given Kai Asakura an easier fight, build up his stardom, and kind of lean him towards a title shot later. And I'm really excited to see him go up against a chiseled vet like Tim Elliott. He's no walk in the park. He's been in the UFC. He's fought. He's beat tough guys. But I think Kai Asakura is a totally different level than Tim Elliott, and he's gonna prove that to the world in his fight. So won't talk about this one too much longer. We'll move on right to the next fight. MVP versus Jared Cannonier. I'm super excited for this fight. MVP is a very exciting fighter. I think they brought him into the UFC very well, and they put him up against some good opponents. He did fall short against Ian Gary, who is one of the best fighters in that division, 100%. But, he bounced back against Shar Magomedov, who was he was a crazy hype train. So for MVP to shut him down the way he did, it was super impressive. And I feel like this is going to be kind of the same situation. Jared Cannonier is a killer for sure. I mean, it's in his nickname, Killer Gorilla. But MVP is so fast, and you've seen it throughout his entire career. You can watch any MVP fight. He wants his hands down. He's moving. He's dancing around. His strikes are going to come in really quick. He's going to overwhelm Jared Cannonier very easily. But, MVP's gotten caught before. I don't think he's going to get caught in this fight. I think he's really made some mature steps in his career. I mean, obviously he still showboats and, likes to give a show to the fans, but I don't see him getting chinned in this fight unless, it's just a perfect setup. I believe that MVP is going to edge this one out with a unanimous decision, maybe 30-27, 29-28. But I don't really see MVP finishing this fight. I think Jared Cannonier is a really tough opponent. He's got a tough chin. He's fought in really tough guys and hasn't gotten finished that much. So I think it's going to be MVP unanimous decision. And yeah, we'll move on to the next fight. Carlos Prates versus Geoff Neal. I mean, it's a good bounce back fight for Carlos Prates. He just fought Ian Gary. Could have finished him. I mean, I was very, very hyped about that fight. I'm a big Fighting Nerds fan, as is everybody in the whole world. I mean, how could you not love those guys? But Carlos Prates really could have finished that fight. I think he let off the gas pedal a little bit, but he's young in his career, and he's still going to make noise. But this is a perfect bounce back fight for him. This is a ranked guy who's, again, a veteran. He's fought in tough fights. Geoff Neal's been in this position before, and Carlos Prates is, I believe, probably going to finish Geoff Neal. Neal's been in there with some of the toughest guys. He's been finished by guys like Shavkat, who's, one of the best in the world, even though we haven't seen him for a good amount of time. I don't want to get too off track here. But, Carlos Prates, I believe he'll finish Geoff Neal maybe third round TKO. I don't see him putting him out, flatline him or anything like that. I think he'll overwhelm him with his length. Really get the kicks in there, get some body work going, clinch up. He's a very complete fighter. I think he'll use every aspect of his game really to pick apart Geoff Neal. If he doesn't finish him, I believe it's going to be a 30-27 unanimous decision. I don't see I don't see Jeff Neal really being on the level of Carlos Prates, and I think it's going to be a not easy, but an impressive night for Carlos Prates for sure. I will say I am coming from a little bit of a bias though, but Jeff Neal is a tough son of a bitch, so I'll give him that. But I do think Carlos Prates, 3rd round TKO. I'll throw in a little bonus. I think he's going to get a little ground and pound. He's going to have him right up against the cage where he should have finished Ian Gary in his last fight. But, we're excited for Carlos Prates. Fighting Nerds, big fan of them. And we'll move on to the next fight from there. This one I'm very excited for because I do like both of these fighters. I just wish these guys weren't fighting yet against each other. Lerone Murphy will be taking on Aaron Pico. I've talked about this. I've expressed my feelings about bringing Bellator guys into the UFC to fight these top-ranked guys. I think when you have a Bellator star, someone like the likes of Michael Chandler, someone like the likes of Patchy Mix. I'm sorry, excuse me, my Bellator ball knowledge is not there at all. I'm a UFC guy, but the most recent ones I can think of, MVP. You got to feed these guys a couple fights. You don't have to give them someone who has 15 losses, but we got to build them up. The divisions are dying a little bit. Guys are retiring. Guys are getting older. The name value in divisions is lowering. That's not something that can be argued. That's a fact. That's for sure. We've lost guys like Poirier a couple years ago. Habib, McGregor has been out for 4 years. Those 3 names right there. We're getting close to losing Gaethje. Holloway's still young. He's in the prime of his career. We have a couple more good years of him, but bringing in these young stars from other promotions that have been dominant in other promotions, they need to feed them a little bit. Get them some star power going. I'm very passionate on this subject, so I won't rant too much about it. We'll get on to my actual prediction. But that kind of feeds into what my prediction is going to be. Lerone Murphy's undefeated. He's had a draw. Aaron Pico is a beast. He's had some amazing knockouts, highlight reels. They've been all over social media. I've been seeing them all week. But the UFC is such a different level compared to Bellator. And Lerone Murphy is one of the best in that division. He's not a push. He's undefeated. Murphy's had his losses. He's definitely a vet. But putting him up against a guy like Lerone Murphy on short notice, I believe. I'm almost 100% he's fighting him on short notice. Yes, you're going to get points for taking it on short notice, but this is just I just don't like it. I think because Aaron Pico's a great name. His record isn't crap. He has name value, and he can be great in the division. He can beat guys. He can be a top 5 guy for sure. I truly believe that. But setting him up against Lerone Murphy for his first fight, short notice or not, is going to slow a hype train down for sure. Especially if he underperforms. Look at the Patchy Mix fight. He walked around for 3 rounds against Mario Batista. He made Mario Batista look like prime Max Holloway. It was painful to watch because we want to see these guys who are 20-1, 20-2 come in and dominate against a top-ranked guy. But it just hasn't been the case. It started with Michael Chandler for the most part. Anyways, I ranted too much. That wasn't even a prediction. But I believe Lerone Murphy is going to get it done. I don't think Lerone Murphy is going to finish him. I think Lerone Murphy will have a dominant unanimous decision victory. I feel like that's how a lot of these fights are going to go, which I could be definitely wrong about. There could be a lot more finishes because there has been a lot of finishes on the current UFC cards or the most recent UFC cards. But I just think this is another case of Bellator fever. I think if he doesn't get the decision, I think he's going to get finished, whether it's submission, knockout. But, I think it's going to be an easy night for Lerone Murphy. I don't think that this is a fight that should have been made, especially on short notice. Which is going to take us into our main event, the thing that we've all been waiting for, DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. Hamzat's been out for a while, not too long. He broke Robert Whittaker's face and then took off for a while. But there was no other fight to be made. I mean, it had to be the title fight, and DDP was game for it. He wanted it. He said in his most recent press conference, I want this fight. I want to be the best in the world. I got to fight the best in the world, and he's getting what he wants. In my opinion, and I'm free to argue this in the comments, I believe that Khamzat Chimaev is the best fighter in the world. Pound for pound, I think he's number one, in my opinion. You have your guys like Aspinall, who are obviously heavyweights, those type of fights. But I think Khamzat Chimaev is a different level. Yeah, he's just insane. He latches onto you. And I know he's what everyone doesn't like in the UFC, but he finishes guys. He gets on top and he chokes them out. He breaks their face. He knocks guys out with one punch. And I'm not gonna die on the Khamzat's the GOAT. That's not what I'm saying here. But Khamzat's a different level of fighter, and it's gonna be a really interesting fight to watch because DDP is such a strange and unorthodox fighter. I mean, that's something that he's shown throughout his whole career in the UFC. Neither of these guys have lost in the UFC. It's gonna be somebody's always got to go, as they say. I just don't see DDP being on the level of Khamzat Chimaev cardio-wise. If this fight goes into later rounds, how the Gilbert fight went against Khamzat Chimaev, and that was only was that 5 rounds? That was a main event. I believe that was 5 rounds because that was a main event. I'm almost 100% sure. But I just don't see him matching Khamzat's cardio. The later the rounds go, the more dangerous Khamzat's going to be, especially when it comes to the ground game. DDP has good cardio. He's fought championship fights, obviously. He's defended his strap. I just think he's going to overwhelm him. I don't know if we're going to get Khamzat sprinting right out of the base and shooting for a takedown or, feeling it out. But, I think it's going to be Khamzat's fight to win. I think his ground game is very much superior to DDP's. Although DDP has a serious, he submitted the whole Gracie Barra team. Everyone's seen the meme. It's like he's got a tough ground game, and he's a big guy. If we're talking muscle mass, these are 2 of the bigger middleweights. DDP could fight light heavyweight. He's a unit. He's a huge guy, and muscle mass wise, he's a little bit more jacked than Khamzat is. Khamzat's just a freak build. He's built like a skinwalker. But anyways, I'll stop yapping. Get to the official CombatWire prediction for the main event of UFC 319. I believe and knew the middleweight champion of the world will be Khamzat Chimaev after Saturday concludes. I believe he'll submit him. I don't think he's going to chin DDP, and I don't think these guys are going to go for 5 rounds. One of these guys is going to die in the octagon trying to get the other. But I think it's Khamzat's moment. I think Khamzat's fought as tough guys as he could have, and DDP's had a crazy run at middleweight, and he'll probably continue depending on what Khamzat does after this fight. But I just can't see DDP finishing Khamzat. I can't see him edging out a unanimous decision victory. I don't think his cardio will allow him to do that. And I can't see Khamzat getting finished unless it's some freak Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal flying knee situation, or, I just don't see Khamzat being finished by DDP. I don't think his awkward style is going to match up with how Khamzat fights. So we're going to go with Khamzat Chimaev submission round number 2. I think it's going to be a scrambly first round. In round 2, he's just going to be like, you know what? I got him. He's going to bring him to the ground, choke him out. I'm going to say rear naked, probably rear naked. That's the safe bet. So we're going to go rear naked. Anyways, that is going to conclude our UFC 319 prediction video. This was my first prediction video. I hope I didn't yap too much about stuff that wasn't predictions. But I hope you enjoyed the video as well. Thank you so much for coming here. If you disagree or you agree with my predictions, let me know in the comments. I'm down to have a conversation about, these fights coming on this weekend. But stay tuned, because we are also going to be dropping some live reactions to the fights this weekend on my Instagram and YouTube. So again, thank you for being here. Really excited. And peace.